How's it going, everybody? Cody McCarty here with Explore Travel Capture. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the equipment that I'm going to be using for travel filmmaking in 2023. Now, my big focus this year was to get everything as compact as possible in terms of camera equipment and to make traveling, flying, and all of that as easy as possible. So I'm going to start with the case. So I decided to pull the trigger on a Pelican Air 1535 carry-on case. The reason I chose this is because I wanted my camera equipment to feel safe and secure, but I still needed it to be carry-on size for when I travel. It's got rolling wheels, which makes going around airports and stuff with all my equipment a lot easier, because prior to this, I was using the Atlas Adventurer pack, and I love this backpack. I love everything that gets inside it and how much space it has, but honestly, it was getting really hard to be carrying that around through airports and traveling with it. It just ended up hurting my back at the end of the day, so I needed to move away from that backpack. Now, I have made a video of everything I've been able to cram inside that backpack. I have it linked down below. It was a fantastic backpack, but my focus is really making travel easy. Now, inside the Pelican Air case, I have storage up top. This is kind of where I end up putting batteries, like I have lens cleaners right here. And then inside, I have my compartments. It's configured for the equipment that I'm currently traveling with. Now, I'm gonna get into that in just a second, but I found this for, I think, like $350 with all the storage compartments and stuff. It is water sealed, waterproof, and it's just a really good case. It's one of the best purchases I made for travel because you need a good spot to store all your equipment. Now, speaking of equipment, I'm currently rocking the Sony FX3 as my primary A camera. The reason I chose this is because I want everything to be as small as possible. And the FX3 is the smallest Netflix approved cinema camera on the market right now. It records high frame rates all internally. I'm not missing any features with it. And once again, it is tiny. Even with the XLR top handle, which can be detached, and this 24-70, which is all I need for documentary filmmaking, it's everything I could want in a cinema camera. Now, my second camera is the Sony a7S III. It's got an identical sensor to the FX3. So it's got amazing video specs and is still in this tiny package. Matches the footage flawlessly. It gets the job done that I need it to get done. I do wish I had a little bit more megapixels in my second camera for stills. I am having Sony send me an A1 that I will be testing and reviewing on this channel that may replace this. It is a much higher end video camera, but double the price, but it also has amazing stills capability. So I'm gonna be taking that to Yosemite and testing that in comparison, but I'm trying, like I said, to get everything as small and as portable as possible. Now, when it comes to lenses, I don't have my perfect ideal setup yet. I'm saving up for it, but first lens is the 16-35. I think every travel filmmaker needs some kind of ultra wide zoom lens. I like the f2.8 because I do a lot of astrophotography, and that extra stop of light is critical for my astro time lapses. So the 16-35 is the sharpest zoom lens I've ever used. It's a fantastic lens. I have heard rumor of a Mark II coming, and if that's a lot lighter, I definitely would consider upgrading because I want everything as light as possible. The other lens that I'm considering to replace this is the Sony 12-24, just because I want that extra 4mm on the wide end, and I have 24mm covered with my next lens choice, which is the Sigma 24-70 f2.8. This is my primary lens that I'm using when I'm shooting run and gun documentary work. It's fast enough to get shallow depth of field and subject separation. It's borderline par focal, so when you zoom in and out, it keeps the same focus range. And honestly, I got it for $8.99. The price, you can't beat it. Now, this lens may not be in my bag for the remainder of 2023. I do want to try and get the new Sony 24-70. Once again, I'm going for as light as possible, and it's about 0.3 pounds lighter, which in terms of hiking around and traveling is a significant weight difference. I also very much like the faster autofocus of that lens, and the flaring from when I've used it is just a lot better than this in terms of ghosting and flaring. I personally like the look. Now, this next lens undermines everything I've been saying about light and compact. This is the Sony 50mm 1.2 lens. The reason this is still in my camera bag is it's kind of like a guilty pleasure fast lens that I will pull out at night or when I really, really want some subject isolation. The 1.2 allows so much light to come in that I'm filming the stars in video at night. Like, this lens is a dream lens, and I've actually been really loving astrophotography with it. I've gotten some fantastic astro time lapses with it. I do want to make a review of this lens before I think I do sell it, because once again, it is a heavy chonk monster of a lens. And now that I'm not filming weddings and I'm getting out of that, I want the tools for the job, and the 51.2 is the perfect wedding and portraiture, and it is a perfect lens for all of that. It's just not good for travel because it is heavy, it is bulky. Like you can see, this is just a massive, massive lens. Now, my last lens on the list of travel lenses is this 100 to 400 Sigma lens. Now, Sony is sending me a 100 to 400 GM lens that I'm going to compare it to along with the A1. But the reason I chose this is, one, price, but two, the biggest factor is it is a ½ pound lighter than the Sony 100 to 400. And it's losing a stop of light at both ends, which is a lot of light to lose in terms of like wildlife photography and stuff. But then again, the Sony cameras perform so well at high ISOs, and I just needed something with reach and with some massive compression. I just wanted to get an affordable long lens, and this was it. This was a no-brainer. I plan on comparing it to the Sony 100 to 400 to really see what the difference is. But right now, I got this for $699 brand new. The Sony GM is $2,300 brand new. And if I'm not saving significant weight, and I'm not saving any weight, it's not worth it to me. I'd rather save the weight. It's still fantastic image quality. Sigma makes amazing lenses for Sony. It's one of the reasons why I switched back from Canon to Sony, is the E-mount has so many available options. Now, I think it's pretty standard for every travel filmmaker to carry some kind of drone now. My drone of choice is the Air S2. The reason I've chosen this drone is because it's got 10-bit footage. It's a fantastic drone. It's still small. I have played with the Mavic 3 Classic, the Mavic 3 Pro. I've used every single drone out there. I can promise you I've used almost every single drone that is worth using, and this is just my old reliable small drone. I may consider the Mini 3 Pro if it's not too much of a drop in image quality, because it is a lot smaller than this. And I would consider getting the controller with the built-in screen, which isn't much bigger than this, just so I wouldn't have to plug in my phone all the time and worry about charging the phone separately and stuff like that. So this is my drone for now. It is very affordable for how good an image quality it produces. Now, this next camera is the Insta360 X3. I really do love this camera. I did not expect to love it as much as I do. I use it for filming my vlogs and capturing all those memories where I just need something quick where I can extend it out with the selfie stick, or I can just set it down on tripod legs, and then if I need to take it off, if I just don't want these legs, it is this tiny little camera. So the Insta360 is what is in my backpack when I'm traveling. This is what I'll film most of my BTS with and my walking around airport stuff, and all of that for the vlog is this Insta360 X3. It is fantastic. I definitely recommend it over a GoPro. I love the ability to capture everything, and I don't have to think about what I'm capturing. I'm capturing everything. So getting away from camera equipment, the next accessories that I bring are these Aputure MC11 lights. The reason that I bring them is because I shoot a lot of BTS at night or in tricky lighting situations, and because these are so small, I can just throw them in the bag or even mount them to the side of my FX3 for some of the docu stuff. it's good to have. Like, these are great behind the scenes lights. They're bi-colored, so you can see this one's pink right now, and it's super easy to just change the hue and the settings, and having this is cool for little special effects. I've used them on sets, but I mostly use them as my portable travel lights. So I'll carry around these MC11s with me, and those will fly around with me everywhere. Up next, I figured we'd talk about ND filters because these are essential if you're doing any filmmaking and you want to get natural motion blur, or if you want to do like long exposure sunset stuff, I use them for these. So my main ND filter for the longest time was these Peter McKinnon variable ND filters. I do like it, it's the Mist edition, but what I've been in love with for the quick run and gun stuff is the Freewell magnetic ND filters. These things are amazing. I'll, strap this to my side belt, and then I have the ND filters inside here. There's Mist ones, there's polarizers. These are my 10 out of 10 recommends, and they cost just as much as these Peter McKinnon ones. So this was a no-brainer for me. It's let me keep my FX3 as my main cinema camera, because I did consider the FX6 for the rear NDs, but once again I wanted small, and this is kind of like having fast changing ND filters. Now when it comes to audio, I'm using the Sennheiser MKE 600 with this windsock to cut out wind noise. This was the best shotgun microphone I could find for the documentary stuff that I'm doing in terms of like shooting outside and indoors. This was definitely a bitter pill to swallow. I'd never spent so much on a microphone before or an audio setup, but it's been worth it. It is fantastic sound, best bang for the buck in terms of price, and I absolutely love this microphone. It lives on my FX3. So my next source of audio are the Rode Go 2s. This is a fantastic microphone system. I'll use a lav mic plugged into one, or if I forget the lav mic, I do have a mic built into it that I can just clip onto me or my talent, and I can get 4 channels of audio with the FX3. So chances are whatever I record, there's something usable. If one of the mics messed up, or if the shotgun mic was a little too far away, I have the wireless audio, and just like if the wireless audio disconnects, I have the shotgun audio. So I have a lot of redundancies in audio because that's often overlooked in video. So oftentimes when I go out to shoot, I don't always have access to power, so I have 2 power bank options that I have. One is this little Anker that I can use to charge my phone, I can charge my cameras, and then this larger Charge Tech, which is capable of putting out 85 watts through the AC charger right here. So I keep that around in case I need to like power a very small light. It has power to 60 watt light for about 45 minutes, which is kind of crazy. It is big, but it's the smallest that I could get to do AC power out. So this little Charge Tech battery has served me well. I've been using it for like 6 years. It is probably time to get rid of it. Now the next pieces of gear are kind of travel adjacent. So I will take these Sony MKE-H4s, whatever, these noise canceling headphones right here. They're the best noise canceling headphones I've ever used. I also have AirPods Pros, but for flights, these are super comfortable. I can wear them the entire time, and every time I take them off, I'm like, oh my God, planes are really loud. So really good at protecting my ears, and they help me get in the zone and work and edit. And then over here, I got this 14-inch MacBook Pro, the M1 Pro Max. It can edit the most compressed files from these cameras, so it is a fantastic computer. I don't see myself upgrading anytime soon. Fantastic purchase. If you don't own like a good editing machine, that should be your first purchase. Now you guys may have noticed that the Pelican case can't fit all of this. So right now my backpack, my personal item, is this Peak Design backpack. Can't remember which Peak Design it is, but this is where my laptop and clothes will all go in. I will just stuff it full of everything that I'm gonna wear if it's like a short trip. And then what I'll do is when I get there and I need to go hike around or something like that, I will switch out the stuff from the Pelican case into here and vice versa, and kind of pick it accordingly. I don't have a better solution for this right now. If it's a longer trip, I'm going to check a bag anyways with most of my equipment. But this is where I'll carry the tripods, is I'll just carry the tripods on the side. I've never had a problem with a flight with, you know, this being my personal item with tripods on it. So that's been really good. Fingers crossed that, you know, that doesn't become an issue. But this Peak Design backpack is really good. I got an Arca Swiss plate on it. All my cameras have Arca Swiss, just so I could do quick mounting and stuff. As for tripods, I'm currently using the two tripods that I use now, which is the Peak Design travel tripod, as well as an older Benro tripod that is really light. And I'm testing this new SmallRig fluid head that I'm not the biggest fan of, but it packs down tiny, actually. It packs down tiny. This is the entirety of the fluid head. So for what it brings to the table, it's actually a really good thing. It's like $100, but you can get some smooth fluid pans with this, and it's Arca Swiss plate compatible, so it works great for my needs. Now, obviously, there's a lot more things that I pack when I travel on these trips, but that's the bulk of what I pack and kind of how I pack it when it comes to like my photography equipment and the tech that I bring. So if you guys are curious or you have solutions that you think I could be doing something better, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing more of you guys 2023 and sharing some travel tips. Have a great day. Ooh, the dogs decide to bark now.